Dear friends, today we will see sigma level performance of a process. First, we will see baseline performance and introduction. Then we will see conversion to standard curve. Then we will see the long-term shift in the distribution. And we will do 4 types of problems using the Excel formulae, the different types of Excel formulae that we'll be using to solve the problems. In any process, the goal is to reach Six Sigma level. What is Sigma level? It tells you about the process. The quantity of products that are defect-free can be identified from the Sigma level. Now, our aim is to reach the highest quality, which is Six Sigma. And how do we know that we have reached Six Sigma level? All we need to do is we find out the process, quantum of defects in the products, then substitute in the table and find out the Sigma level. These are given in the textbooks, but we can do this by ourselves using calculations also. What is a formula? It is available in Excel. We can substitute in the Excel itself and get the result instantly. Now, a normal distribution curve is used because all the samples follow normal distribution curve. What is a normal distribution curve? It is a standard distribution or random distribution of data around a central average. So there will be a mean value. Around this mean value, that is average value, the values will be clustered on either side with no bias on either side. So there will be no bias above or below the average. Now, 2 examples I have shown. This red one is having a small standard deviation. The blue one is having a larger standard deviation. So this one is a good process because of a smaller standard deviation. Meaning of sigma level we will see here. Sigma level is measured by Z, that is the sigma level. Z measures the proportion of this graph that does not result in defects. That is, proportion of your production that does not result in defects. Z is the number of standard deviation that you can fit between the mean of the normal distribution and the upper specification limit. So you know what is Z? It is the number of standard deviation between the average and the USL, that is upper specification limit. You can see it in the graph also, visualize. Upper specification limit, who fixes it? The customer. Upper specification limit is the maximum reading that the customer will allow. Now this is a normal distribution curve. This is a lower specification limit fixed by the customer, higher specification limit fixed by the customer. The mean is given at the center, and LSL and USL I have written here. Now, you can convert sigma number to DPMO. DPMO means defects per million opportunities, or defects per million opportunities to sigma number, that is Z value. Now here sigma is the standard deviation of this process, and Z level is here, that is the mean and the upper specification limit. Between these two, this much distance is there. Suppose sigma is equal to 10 units. And the distance between mean and the upper specification limit is 100. So 100 by 10 is 10. So Z value is, sigma level is 10, 100 by 10. So if it is 25, Z is equal to 25. That is the distance between mean and the upper specification limit is 25. And sigma is 5. Then 25 by 5 is the Z value, which is 5. Okay. So the distance between mean and upper specification limit divided by the standard deviation gives you the Z value, sigma level, right? I will show again here what are all the data that would follow the normal distribution. All sample data will follow normal distribution, like heights of the people, grades of the students, marks scored by the students, errors in your process, fitness of people, and you can think of any sample that in the real world you can get. They will follow normal distribution. Sigma levels are based on the normal distribution curve. So I told you, it tells you about the process. Z should be high or low. It should be high. We will see how. So this is a poor quality because the area to the right of this line, vertical line, is the defects. So more area is there. Therefore, more defects are there. Now you see here another process where the area to the right is very little. Therefore, defects are very little. Therefore, it is a good project. Okay. Now we have taken 2 normal distributions. The red curve is a good process because standard deviation is low, 2 sigma, this one. and this 2 sigma is greater. Therefore, blue curve is not a very good curve compared to. Though sigma should be high or low, sigma should be low, because lower the sigma value, the process is good. So it is a bad process because sigma is higher, and this is red one is a good process because sigma 2 sigma 1 is low. Therefore, sigma 1 is low for the red line. Now, area under the distribution curve. What we will see, this is a standard distribution curve where the mean is 0, and I have taken a point 1.5, which is 1.5 sigma, because sigma is equal to 1 for this curve, because it's a standard normal distribution, and therefore 1.5 sigma is equal to 1.5. Therefore, I mark it as 0, and afterwards 1.5 at a distance of 1.5 centimeter. Now, what is this area under this curve? This area under this curve, total area will be 1. Therefore, total probability is 1. Or failure rate is 1. So, total failure rate is 1. We can take it that way also. Or percentage is 100. Total percentage under this curve is 100. Or total quantum under the curve is 1 million. That also we can take it. So, depending upon what you take it as the area under the curve, the answer will be available for you. Now, we will see this curve. What is the difference between this and this? This is a normal distribution. It will have a different mean depending upon the process, and it will have a different standard deviation. Here the standard deviation is 1. Here the standard deviation may not be 1. It can be 1.5, 2, 3, whatever be it. Mean also need not be 0. It can be 1, 2, 3 or any real number. Now the area under the curve, as I told you, it can be any of these 4 depending upon your problem. Now you can see that I have drawn a line here, and to the right are the defects, to the left are the good products. So you'll have to always assume that. So the table will give you, or the formula will give you the area to the left. So to the area to the right, we can calculate by subtracting the area to the left from the total area. Okay. Now DPMO, p-value, failure rate, percentage defects or percentage defectives, all these are nothing but the area to the right here, this area, small area, right? So this should be very low. Now we will see here, for the standard process distributions, we got this defects as this area, okay? Now consider this is a real process, and I have shifted this by 1.5 units. Because please see this here, this I am just moving to the right. If I am moving to the right, what will happen? This center will be above 1.5. That is what you see here, right? This is 1.5. Whereas here it is on top of 0. Therefore, I am shifting the curve to the right by 1.5 or shifting the axis by 1.5 to the left. Either way, you will get the same curve. Now here, because of my shift, over a period of time, the process will shift. That process shift is what we are showing here as 1.5 sigma shift. Now, sigma is 1, therefore 1.5 sigma shift is nothing but 1.5 here. Now here, when I am shifting it here, the curve, when I am shifting it here, the area becomes larger. Clear? Okay. So in a real process, if this is 50% on this side and 50% on this side, and depending upon where your USL is there, that is upper specification limit is there, the defects are obtained. The defects are obtained for this particular shifted curve, because that will give you the defects expected after a long time. Okay, so our aim is to find out the defects after a long time. Therefore, we are doing the shift here. Now DPMO, p-value, failure rate, percentage defects or percentage defectives are all nothing but the area to the right here. Okay. Now we'll see here. Now what we do is, we can't refer the table for this. We can substitute in the formula, but the formula is complicated. Therefore, what we do is, we take a standard distribution for this. So these two will be proportion. So whatever Z value here, corresponding standard Z value we can calculate here. And the defects will be same. Whether you calculate by this curve or by this curve, it will be same. So this is nothing but a standard normal distribution curve with 0 mean, and ZST is obtained from the process upper specification limit and the process characteristic. Now again, this D will be nothing but DPMO, defects per million opportunities, or P value, failure rate, or percentage defect. Both are same, P value or failure rate. It is less than 1. Now we will see here a process. Now this is the one upper specification limit here, and this is rejected pieces. So you can see this area here. Now what I'm going to do is, over a longer period, what will happen? The sigma level will be shifted. The process mean will be shifted. I'm shifting the process to the right or the axis to the left. So you will see that curve. See, this curve is shifted to the right here. Therefore, mean will be, instead of 0 here, the mean will be at 1.5. So that is why we call it as a long-term here. Right? So when I'm doing it here like this, the area increases at the same sea level. Right? Now what is the area now? See, this is an extra area. So extra defects. So the defects have increased over a period of time. After a long time of operation, the process will become inferior and the defects will be more. So this is what we have to find out. This is the defects we have to find out. We will see here, find the percentage of the population to the left of the 6 sigma standard deviation line adjusted by 1.5 sigma 6 sigma drift, right? Okay, that is what it says here. Adjusted by 1.5 because sigma is 1. In the standard distribution curve, sigma is 1. Okay, so for 6 sigma drift, what we do is we are adjusting the curve by shifting it by 1.5. Right? The chart of 1.5 minus sigma level against norm S dist within bracket looks like this. We will not see about it. The chart of 1.5 minus 6 sigma level against, right? That is, this is the area. So this is the area, right? Please here, since I have shifted the curve, I know this mean will be on top of 1.5, right? On top of this. So this is nothing but half of the curve. When I say this left side of the curve, this is the left side of the curve. And what we will do is, I will just make it bigger, zoom it out. Now, here, I'm just to make it bigger. The area to the right gives the defects. And what we do is, if you go there and here at 6 sigma level, that is Z is equal to 6, but draw a vertical line, the area to the right is 3.4. So 3.4 defects per million products, where the total area under the curve is 1 million. Okay, that is what it gives. The formula and all we will see here. We see that sigma level of 1.5 is where 50% of the sample are errors, right? Because area to the right is 50%, area to the left is 50%, because it's a symmetric curve. Then as we move towards the right, then sigma level keeps increasing and the defects decreasing, because sigma level rise is always better, decreases the defect. And it gives a percentage outside the area. That is what is this here, right? It also, we can also give it in terms of percentage. Multiplying the percentage by 1 million gives the DPMO, right? So here 3.4 DPMO, we have got it, right? So at 1.5 sigma level, a DPMO is 5 lakhs because 50%. At this point, the right hand side area is 50%. So 50% of 1 million is 500,000, 5 lakhs. Therefore, defects will be 500 or the 500,000 for the entire area. But if you draw a line at 6 sigma, then the defects will be only 3.4. Now we will see this sigma level and DPMO calculations. As the sigma level goes to 6, you can see that DPMO goes to, defects per million opportunities goes down to 3.4. This is the familiar, very famous defects per million opportunities target. We use this function to go from 6 sigma level to DPMO. Right? We'll see here. How do we calculate? The general formula is DPMO is equal to norm dot dist, open bracket, 1.5 minus sigma. Sigma is that standard deviation, comma, 0 is the mean, and 1 is the standard deviation for the standard distribution curve. comma true gives the area to the left, right? Multiplied by 1 million gives you the defects per million opportunities. Why I'm multiplying area to the left I'm taking because this is negative side. So when it is on the negative side, the area to the left gives the defects. Since this is a symmetric curve, area to the right or area to the left will be the same, right? But area to the right, you'll have to calculate by subtracting from the total area. Here, directly the defect area is given here on the left-hand side. That is why we are using that same formula. There is no subtraction from one and all, right? So dPMO is equal to, we can use this formula. Now converting dPMO to sigma level short term. So from dPMO, you want to get the sigma level, right? So sigma level we want. We got dPMO here, you will get sigma level now. So short-term sigma level is absolute, the inverse of this, the reverse of this. So absolute norm dot inverse, open bracket, dPMO by 1 million, comma 0, comma 1. That is the sigma value for the long term, plus 1.5 gives you the sigma level for the short term, right? This also we can use it. What we will do is we'll just go and see that example, right? You'll see here. Okay. See here, I put 1.5 sigma level, then the formula is, so norm dot this, 6 C6, C6 is here, right? 0, comma 0, comma 1, true is given here, right? So I suppose I take 6, then the 1.5 minus sigma level is 4.5. So I am substituting here. So you will get norm dot this, that is the failure rate is 3.4 into 10 to the power minus 6 multiplied by 1 million, you will get 3.4. This is the answer. dPMO, we are getting it. This is what we have been teaching you now. Okay. We'll go to that back. Now we will go there. Sigma level, failure rate and dPMO in Excel. Right. If you want to calculate directly from failure rate instead of dPMO, you know dPMO by 1 million is failure rate. So all you need to do is failure rate, you'll have to substitute dPMO by 1 million. Instead of that, you just put the failure rate in the formula, and the formula will be absolute, open bracket, norm dot inverse, open bracket. Instead of dPMO by 1 million, I'm writing just failure rate, comma 0, comma 1, plus 1.5 to get the short-term sigma level, right? So failure rate is equal to norm dot dist, open bracket, 1.5 minus sigma, comma 0, comma 1, comma true. The true way, because we are telling area to the left. Because it is negative, 1.5 minus sigma will be negative. Therefore, instead of right-hand side area, we are getting on this side, symmetric curve, left-hand side area we are getting. Okay. Now, if you want to have this positive, if this is positive, then what you'll have to do is you'll have to subtract from 1. 1 minus this. It's positive. But since it is negative, we do not subtract. So dPMO is equal to norm dot dist, open bracket, 1.5 minus sigma, 0, comma 1, comma true into 1 million, because I'm just multiplying failure rate by 1 million. This is nothing but the formula for failure rate, right? Same here. So once you find out failure rate, you can get dPMO by multiplying by 1 million, right? Now we will see types of problems. Problem type 1, find the target defects allowed for different sigma levels up to 6. So the process has 200 opportunities for defects in each product made. That means each product has 200 opportunities for defects. Now what we will do is, how many defects were found in a production run of 10,000, right? That we will have to find out, right? So find the target defects allowed for the different Six Sigma levels. For different Six Sigma levels up to 6, what are the defects we can find for a production of 10,000 units? Now we will see here this graph. This is the table. See, I put sigma level, I'm putting it here because we want to find out for different sigma levels. So I'll put 1.52 up to 6. Up to 6 we'll put, 6 also we'll find out. And then 1.5 minus sigma level is, here it is 0. So I will find out here. Then I will substitute in the formula. What is the formula here? Norm dot dist, open bracket, B1. B1 is nothing but the value here, right? For this 0, for this minus 0.5, like that. And then 0, comma 1, comma true. If I put this, I will get this answer, which will be less than 1, right? Multiply by 1 million, I will get the DPMO, defects per million opportunities. Now each product has got 200 defects, opportunities for defects. Therefore, I have to multiply this by 200. Therefore, you will have 500,000. Now you will have 100, 1, 3, 3, 6, 2, 1 followed by 8 zeros, right? Okay. And then defects allowed per 10,000, what you'll have to do is, this is for 1 million. Therefore, you'll have to multiply by 10,000. You will get this answer, right? This is the answer. 1,000, 1, 2, 3, 1 million. This is 1 million. So what you do is, we are rounding it down. Similarly, here for 5.5, the 1.5 minus sigma level is 1.5 minus 5.5 is minus 4. You are getting this 6334 DPMP, defects per million products, right? And for 10,000 products, this divided by this into 1,000 divided by 1 million. Now for sigma level 6, this is minus 4.5. If I substitute in this formula, I will get 3.4 into 10 to the power of minus 6 failure rate. If I multiply it by million, 10 to the power of 6, I will get 3.4 is the answer. That is why I say that this is a famous figure. 3.4 defects per million opportunities for Six Sigma project, right? And then DPMP, I'm just multiplying by 200, I'll get 680 if I multiply this. And then for 10,000 products, I have to divide by 1 million and multiply by 10,000, then you will get 6 is the answer. 1 by 680 by 100 is the answer. I have to round it off to the lower value because I can't make it a 7. If I make it a 7, then it is less than 6. Sigma level is not 6, it is less than 6. Therefore, this should be lower value. Therefore, I have taken 6 defects. Now, for I'm going up to 10 row. So sigma level is 6 here. 3.4 is shown here. And you can see the defects allowed is 6. So you can say that for 6 sigma level, the defects allowed is 6. If I say that defects were less than 63, then I would say the process is 5.5 sigma level. That is what I said. Sigma level indicates the defects allowed in the process, right? Now to reach 4 sigma, the DPMO works out 6210. That is what here 6210, right? Rounding it off. Then with 200 opportunities for defect per product, this allows into 200, which is 1241933 defects per million products made. And in a production of 10,000 units, this will be divided by 1 million multiplied by 10,000, which is divided by 100. So 12419 defects. That is the answer. Similarly, if you have fewer than 12419 defects in the production run, you have reached 4 sigma. That is, if it is less than this, that means our process level, sigma level is 4, right? Okay. Now, if you have 6 or fewer, then you have reached 6 sigma level. If you have reached this 6 or less than this, then you have reached 6 sigma level, right? Round the calculation down to 0. That is what I said. Instead of 6.8, don't round it to 7. You should round it to 6, because if you allow it to be 7, then it is not 6 sigma level. Okay. Now we'll see problem type 2. Here, find the sigma level at which your production is running. A system has 50 opportunities for failure per product. Defects per opportunities for error is 50 per product. Production run is 25,000, right? So if you find 48 defects in the above setup, so instead of 50 opportunities, when there is a 50 opportunities of failure per product and production is 25,000 and defects observed are only 48, then what is your sigma level? We will see that. The previous problem, we fixed the sigma level and found out the defects. Now we are fixing the defects. See, opportunities per product is 50. Production run size is 25,000. Total opportunities for defects in the production run is 125, 1, 200, 1, 10, 100,000, 10,000, lakh, 12 lakhs, 50,000, right? This is obtained by multiplying 50 by 25,000. Defects found in the production is 48. Failure rate is nothing but 48 by 12,000, 12 lakh, 5,000, 50,000, which is 0.0038%. All we need to do is convert this into DPMO, that is multiplied by 1 million, then you will get 38.4. Once you have DPMO, substitute in the formula, you will get sigma level. So Either you can substitute 0038 or 38.4 by 1 million in the formula, and you will get the answer as 5.45. Sigma level is 5.45. This also we will see here. What we will do is, I will just go to the table and then we will see here. What we will see is, right here. See, this one is 50, 25,000, right? This is 12,50,000. I'll put 50 here. This is 5.44. So I will put 48 here. I'll get this 5.45. All I did was substituting this formula. You can see this. This is what the formula here. You can see this here also. Right? Okay. So I substitute failure rate here in this. I put D7 is failure rate. Right? And then in this formula, I'm putting 38.4 by 1 million. So both will give you the same result. Okay. Now we'll go to the next slide. Problem type 3, two-tail. This is for continuous data. Normally, we do not use it for continuous data. When we use continuous data, rejection is possible on either side. When you use defects, there is nothing like minus defects. So all our only defects are only positive numbers. Therefore, we take that minus and all will not come into picture, except for finding out the sigma level by using the symmetrical property of the distribution curve. So process parameters is mean is 15.9, standard deviation is 0.25. This is about the process. Then target parameters, upper specification limit is given here, lower specification limit also is given here. So the dimension should be within these two, right? Now what we'll do is standardized characteristics for standard distribution we have to find out. So ZU upper Z, right? Upper Z is USL minus mu by sigma, which is 16.5 minus 15.9 by 0.25, which is 2.4. Lower specification limit is minus 1.6, because 15.5 minus 15.9 is minus 0.4, divided by 0.25 is minus 1.6. See here, what I'm doing is I'm substituting here all this formula. Here I'm getting p-value left for this. That is, I'm getting, and p-value right I'm getting here. And total, I'm just adding the 2, 0 plus this. And DPU is total P. DPMO can be obtained, this failure rate, right? Multiplied by 1 million, I'll get DPMO. So once I have DPMO, I can substitute DPMO or directly this failure rate and get ZLT. And ZST is, I have to add 1.5 to that. That's all. This is what we'll have to do is, what we will do is, we will go to the next problem and then see this also. One tail discrete. Here, problem type 4, opportunity for error is given, is not given, it is unknown. See, if it is given, we will take it, otherwise we will take it as one assumed. For each product, only one opportunity for error. Sample size is 2000, defects observed is 42, defects per million opportunities is given by the formula, capital D, that is 42 observed divided by number of sample size into YFE, which is unknown, therefore I put 1, multiplied by million gives you the DPMO. Here it is 21,000. All I need to do is I'll have to substitute in this formula and I'll get the answer. 21,000. I get this answer. We will see here whether Excel formula, we will go there and see here. Control L I'll put. I'll just go to this Excel formula and see this formula here. See, I put DPMO, right? Defects per million of opportunities. 3.4 I put here. I'll just put 10,000. So this is 3.82. Sigma level is 3.82. So 3 is all very poor. I must have minimum of 6 sigma level, right? For 6 sigma level, it is 3.4. I know. Therefore, I am substituting 3.4. I must get 6 sigma. I'm getting it, right? Here failure rate is 3.4 into 10 power minus 6. I'll get the same value. Sigma level, I put it, say, I'll put it as 3, right? See, this is failure rate is 0.0681. Right? Now, I must not get failure rate so much. I must get much lower. Therefore, I'll put 6 sigma level. Then I'll get. See, this is very close. 3.4 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So DPMO is, I'll have to multiply 10 to the power of minus 6 into 10 to the power of 6 cancels, giving you 3.4. So I'm substituting here 3. I'm getting so much defects per million. If I put 6, I'll get only 3.4. That's true. So DPMO to failure rate, I'm just multiplying by 1 million. Therefore, all these values we have done this like this here. I'll just show this problem also. Here I'm just 15.92. Standard deviation is given here, and ZU and ZL are obtained from the upper specification limit and lower specification limit. Suppose if they give you mean and tolerance, from this also we can find out upper specification limit and lower specification limit. Here he has given 16. Suppose I have given as 17, right? Then will be there. This will be the answer here. So if I put 16, you will get a different answer, right? This is value. DPMO is this here. Okay, clear? DPMO is this into 1 million, 10 to the power of 6. And is it here? It is the formula is was 10. What I will put is here is P10. This one. This is the value here, right? So I'll just put it as here. I'll put it as 18. Right? All these values are changed. See, 7.6 here. So I'll put it as 15.9. So I got these values change, all these things. So all you need to do is mean and standard deviation for the process, target limits, that is upper and lower specifications. Then it will do this just by substituting this formula. Please, here I have used this formula 1 minus, because area to the left is given by this formula. Since Z value is positive, I have to get the right hand side area by subtracting from 1. For this, since it is negative on this side, the area to the left is already given here. Therefore, I don't have to subtract from 1. I think that is the reason for subtracting from 1. Now, this is the Excel formula we have used. All this formula, you will have to remember this. Once you remember this, depending upon what is available, DPMO available means you can find out sigma level. If failure rate is available, you can find out DPMO and get the sigma level, or directly also sigma level. Or if sigma level is given, you can find out the failure rate, or given sigma level, you can find out DPMO. All these things are possible for both discrete values, for defects, defectives, as well as continuous data. I think I have completed this. Thank you very much for watching. If you like it, please recommend to your friends to watch. Thank you very much.